Good day everyone, so this will be a tutorial on how to use Kuki Shinobu in a Taser team. Now the Taser team that I've got consists of Fischl, Kuki, Sucro, Shinshu, all of them 4 stars, and of course only 4-star weapons. All of these 4-star weapons are craftable, you can achieve them via in-game and so on, so that should be all good. All of my characters unfortunately are at Constellation 6. This is something that you can achieve if you play enough as an F2P player, but I do think Kuki at her current state is a bit unachievable for most F2Ps, but like most of these other characters, over time you will get a C6 Kuki. I just sort of wanted to make sure that the character that I'm putting forth to you guys is on the same sort of level as the rest of the characters. Otherwise we're doing a bit of unfair, like an unfair comparison, comparing a C0 4-star with a bunch of other C6 4-stars. As you can see, her talents are very high as well, and this is just to make her also like comparable to all of the other characters in the team. So with the stage set and so on, how do you use Kuki Shinobu? Well, the big thing is you want to build EM on her, and this is because she's a character that thrives in triggering reactions. So this means Elemental Mastery Sands, Elemental Mastery Goblet, and of course Healing Bonus Circlet, with a focus on HP, as you can see, HP percentage, substats, and so forth. And doing it like this will give your Kuki a very pretty decent build. 2 Pleased and Nasty will give her the necessary HP bump, and I'm just using the emblem of Severed Fate for a bit of extra energy with her elemental burst. It just makes the gameplay smoother. I'm not using Wanderer's Troupe for extra elemental mastery because Sucrose in and of herself is actually going to give Kuki a lot of EM. So basically, if you didn't know, Sucrose by herself can give you, if you trigger like a swirl, she will give that character or all the characters with the element that she swirls, she'll give 50 elemental mastery, and of course whenever her E or her Q hits an opponent, she increases all of the party members elemental mastery by an amount equal to 20% of her own EM. So basically 50 plus about 20% of this is more or less going to give Kuki about an extra 200 EM, and that is honestly more than good enough to trigger reactions. Now at this point you might be asking, well, how do reactions work? It's a bit complicated, and what I mean by complicated is it's not something we'll cover in any deep depth in this video, but basically what you want is you want a lot of elemental mastery so that you can gain a high reaction multiplier. You want your characters to be of a high level, so you get a high level multiplier, and then these two things put together plus some other things happening in the background with swirls and so on will enable you to do a decent amount of damage, and then obviously trigger some other transformative reaction bonuses like electrocharge and so on. If you guys want more detail, go to that Genshin wiki page that I just showed and it'll explain it. Otherwise, let me know in the comment section and we can do a follow-up video. So we just said Kuki is good for reactions, so let us, come on Masanori, let us see what we can do in terms of reactions. So a big thing that I've seen on the internet and on YouTube is the fact that a lot of people try to focus on Kuki's own personal damage, and if they did that, you'll see that she's not really doing much. So let's just quickly go behind him. You'll see she's doing about 385, and this really doesn't look that impressive, but watch what happens when we just apply a bit of hydro here with Kuki. So there is 7,185. Isn't that absolutely crazy? So this is just due to the fact that Kuki herself is triggering that reaction with the hydro. Now it is important to notice that the 2000 damage that you saw there is from the reaction being triggered by Shinshu, but if Kuki herself triggers the hydro, you'll see there, or the electrocharge, you can see there we are actually getting kind of a very nice and high number. So just quickly wait for Shinshu's Rain Swords to expire. Alright, so now that this is expired, let's just see what happens when you have a Sucrose on the field. So I'll just wait for Electro to go away. And you can see Electro Aura is almost gone. So basically Sucrose does exactly like Kuki. You can see not a lot of damage. But what happens when I just put the two together? 1E and just one swirl. Well, look at that. We are doing quite a bit of damage here with Sucro all of a sudden in terms of swirling and so on. And this is what I meant. Kuki enables reaction-based team comps. And if you now put all three of these together, you're really going to start triggering quite a lot of reactions. So So as you can see, we're now doing way more damage. We're triggering more reactions. And this is like really awesome, because now we can take this quite a step further. We can now trigger as many of these reactions as possible. And look at that, 11,000 electro charge and all of that. It's just so crazy. And immediately we just melt Masanori. And this is the key thing to note with Kuki Shinobu. You want to trigger those reactions, because once you do so, you can gain quite a bit of damage from her, and this will enable you to do a lot of damage over time. So let us go into the Spiral Abyss and see how this team, as they are, actually work. Now that you guys understand like the basics. Alright, so let's quickly go to the Spiral Abyss and see what we can do with this sort of Kuki Taser team. Abandon Challenge. Official Kuki, Sucro, Shinshu, and what are we going to run on the next off? Something, we'll just want to clear quickly because I don't want to waste you guys' time. Something like that should be fine. Alright, so F2P Kuki Shinobu, F2P-ish Kuki Shinobu team. Obviously official, obviously having elements of mastery is also useful in helping trigger reactions. So immediately want to start off with Oz, quickly sweep the enemies off their feet, go into Sucrose, bump them up, and fuse sort of, what do you call it, Electro, and let the tasering begin. This is going to be so much fun. Look at all that tasering just happening. And since they're right here, I can just quickly finish them off with Shinshu. There's a bit of Oz, you don't want to trigger Oz again, there we go. And let the tasering continue. Ah yes, definitely getting that infusion ready. Oops, I accidentally misclicked onto, what's his name, Shinshu, but that's okay. And just finish this guy off. Quickly go official, refresh our Oz. Quickly give me some particles, thank you. And let the tasering continue. Oh, they were just sort of knocking me out, but luckily with those Kuki constellations, we sort of got the range and so on, which is not too bad. Oh, let's not forget about Miss Princess Fischl. And I just quickly battery Shinshu for the next half. There we go, and there we go. It's pretty easy, guys. You can definitely, I think I did it in my previous video in like 850 or whatever, but certainly very easy to do. And I just quickly get rid of this enemy. Come on, next enemy, there we go. Alright, so enemies done. Next floor, let's get into it. Continue. Come on, load. We want attack. Do we want attack? Yes. Or any one of these is fine. It really doesn't matter. So immediately what I would always do on this floor is I just sort of run right here. Quickly trigger a bit of official. Avoid the little damage, and then wait for the enemies to sort of, yes, these little slimes to come up here, because now we can just like, look at that, just sort of trigger a lot of like electro and break all of these shields. There you go, little Oz. And there we go, now we just taser them to death, pretty easy. Look at them, they're all just sort of yeah, they're just dropping like flies. And just quickly battery Shinshu again for the next half. There we go, break that shield. And this guy's gonna jump on us and we'll break his cryo shield as well. Why did I press, what's its name? I pressed Shinshu by accident. I think I normally have him at like, I think on control 3 or something like that. Did this guy just turn around? That's just like so weird. I will just break that shield. There we go, Kuki. And let the tasering just continue. Give me some energy for the next. If you were Yelan, you'd be like so better. Oh well, whatever. So you can do that in a pretty decent clearing time as well. The key thing is that the Electro breaks all the cryo shields, and yeah, that's just more or less what we want. Let's just make sure Ayaka hits hard. Alright, come on, Magu Kenki, you are literally wasting time. Alright, so what are you going to do? Are you going to... Okay, so you're going to be right here in front. Quickly finish off Magu Kenki. Go away, go away, go away. Alright, so he's done. And the final flaw, so with the little F2P Taser team, well, as we come to the end of this sort of run, hopefully you guys have enjoyed it and understand more or less how you should use Kuki Shinobu. Do check out my previous video on clearing the entire Spiral Abyss with Kuki and so on. And yeah, on this final floor, just a couple of tips. You sort of want to move right here because the big thing about this is the electro charge applying to both of them. That's kind of a very, very key thing, and that's what we want to focus on. So I generally like pushing them into the corner because then I can ensure that the electro charge will hit both of them, and that'll trigger as many reactions as possible. And just go move a bit with Fischl. There we go. A bit of Kuki. Smack this guy. See if we can't finish him off. Not really, but that's okay. And that is it. Game, set, match. Not too bad. You can definitely do this in about 9:25. So it's something that will still give you enough time to then just clear out Perpetual Mechanical Ray and so on. So, final conclusions. Yeah, Kuki is pretty misunderstood. I think she's a great healer for these sort of team comps with Sucrose and so on. And she is good in reaction-based team comps. Pretty solid 4-star character in my opinion. Absolutely gorgeous. And that's it for this tutorial. Hopefully you found it instructive, and let me know what you think in the comments down below.